And now I'm excited to hear what Ryan, Robbie, and Kelsey have to say about the best films they saw at the festival.
Take it away, guys.
What's up, Sneak Peekers? My name is Ryan Schwinn.
I'm Kelsey Leffingwell.
I'm Robbie Voisinay.
And we're here talking about South by Southwest. We all had the pleasure of attending it this last week. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our favorites. So starting off, the one film that we all saw, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes, I loved that a lot. It made me very happy. You know, it reignited my love of movies because I just expected like a fun little adventure thing, but dang, it had me really crying in the club. You know, the emotional proudness and depth, like, wow.
I was trying not to cry sitting next to Robbie, and then I found out later that he was doing the same thing.
Yeah, we should have cried on each other's shoulders. It would have been funny.
It would have been funny, perhaps. It is a film directed by the Daniels, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, who previously did Swiss Army Man. I was a big fan of Swiss Army Man, but I thought this blew it out of the water. I was really a big fan of this. Kelsey, what did you think?
I liked it a lot. There were multiple points in the film where I thought it could have ended, and it didn't, but it kept going. But it didn't take away from the film. And so I really enjoyed it, and I loved the googly eyes.
They were really fun.
The googly eyes and the rocks and all the other crazy things.
Yeah. Another headliner that Robbie and I had the pleasure of seeing was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Sir Nicolas Cage.
I saw Nicolas Cage.
I got a selfie with him. He didn't know. I just took it, and he was just kind of in the background.
I've got many pictures of Nicolas Cage on my phone now. I'm not going to delete them. They're just going to stay there forever and ever.
So the movie.
The movie, that's what we're here to talk about.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
It was.
You're a big Nick Cage fan, so I want to know.
It's the most Nicolas Cage thing you'll ever see. Like I said this in my Letterboxd review, that Robbie Voisinay Letterboxd, and I said this movie reveres Nick Cage more than Christian movies revere Jesus. It's puts him on the ultimate pedestal. He is the god of this world, and I want to be in that world.
This is God's Not Dead, but for Nick Cage, perhaps.
Yes, and good actually.
It was a really good movie. I also love Pedro Pascal. He plays a very big role in it. He's really funny, and they have a really great kind of bromance in there as well.
And if you were there for the Q&A session after, in the movie, Pedro Pascal plays a Nick Cage superfan, and it turns out he's a Nick Cage superfan in real life.
We got to have lunch with Pedro, and part of what we found out was that he was such a huge Nick Cage fan. So there was a reality to that from the jump. So when his name was in the mix, we went, God, this feels right.
Not a ton of acting there.
Just stripping back and just...
I knew more about Nicolas Cage movies than they did. That came out in 1987.
So all those fun little chemistry, that was real. The fanboying, that was real. It was so cool.
As one does. South by Southwest does not just do films, though. They also do episodic premieres. Kelsey, you had the chance to see a couple. What were some of your favorites?
My absolute favorite was the show We Crashed, which recently came out on Apple TV+. The first 3 episodes. The 4th episode comes out on Friday, which I'm very excited about as well. But the show follows these two. It's cool because when I was talking to Lee Eisenberg, the showrunner of the TV show, he talked about how this story is so amazing because it's about the rise and fall of a business, but in the middle of it is a love story. And when I was watching it, it's almost like a love story between two narcissistic people almost, which is really cool. And so I didn't know this either, but the show is based on a podcast, which is really cool, and something that I hadn't seen before. And so I absolutely loved it. I loved Anne Hathaway's performance. Jared Leto is incredible. In real life, I got the opportunity to speak with him on the red carpet, but then I went in to watch the show, and he has an accent in the show. And so I went from talking to him in person to seeing this show, and it was incredible because it was his accent was so believable within the show. Even though I had just spoken to him, I was still his performance just blew me away, and the show was incredible.
And you also got to see the last movie stars.
I did.
Ethan Hawke.
Yes.
Ethan Hawke. He's going to be in Moon Knight.
That's so
Yay.
true.
Yeah. But that movie was also interesting as well because it was a different format that I hadn't seen before. I didn't know what I was expecting going into it, but when I started watching it, it started out with a Zoom call, which is something that like we've all seen throughout this pandemic is Zoom and how it's become like primarily in all of our lives. But it was interesting how it was adapted into this film. And so it was really cool because, you know, he had Ethan Hawke had his daughter on there. He had George Clooney. He had Martin Scorsese. He had so many people, which is incredible. And so the format of the movie was great. It was about a story that I had never heard about before, Paul Newman and Joanna Woodward, and, you know, their love affair, but then also his ex-wife as well, and the children that he left with his ex-wife, which is, it's a great story.
And one of the closing weekend films that we got to see was Cha Cha Real Smooth, directed by my boy Cooper Rife.
Cooper.
Who directed a little film previously that we can't name due to its explicit title. But he is quite the writer-director. He's quite the star. It also stars Dakota Johnson.
It sure does.
And Odeya Rush. It's a great film. Robbie, what'd you think?
Okay, so I went in this one knowing pretty much nothing except that Dakota Johnson was in it. And, well, I came out like, man, like there's several scenes in this movie where Cooper is crying in a car. And, I mean, I get it now because I was also crying in the car. Not as many times as he was in the movie.
You went from crying in the club previously to now crying in the car?
Yeah, I might just cry right now, actually, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really, really good. Cooper Rife is like such a once-in-a-lifetime talent. He's like so funny, and it feels so effortless coming from him. This comes out, I think, June 17th.
On
Yes.
Apple TV+.
So y'all got to check that one out. That was really good. South by Southwest had a bunch of fun stuff that we couldn't really talk about. Fire of Love, Emergency, Lost City, which Emily mentioned earlier. A lot of great stuff. But yeah, I think that's all from us. Thank you so much for
Shout out to
watching.
Marcel the Shell of Shoes On. It's so good.
Check it out.
Yes.